This is a tutorial for my arrangement of the Angel Gabriel from Heaven Camel. There's a playthrough at the end of this, and if you'd like to order it, there's a link in the description. I've got 3 verses of this arranged. The first verse is in A minor, and it's really just melody over a bass line. And what we want to do is try to keep the bass notes sustained while the melody moves above. We begin with the pickup E, play that with any finger you like, and then in the first full measure, we sustain a low A on the 5th string. Above that, in the melody, finger 2 on this A, 1, 2 beats, and on beat 3, first finger on the C, again keeping the low A ringing. Next measure, we have a low G. Use 3rd finger on that one. Keep 3rd finger down throughout the measure, even while you're changing notes in the melody. The melody is open for 2 beats, and on beat 3, 4th finger on this D. Next measure, we have a low A that's sustained for 2 measures. That A is tied, so it's a total of 6 beats, or 2 measures. Above that, in the melody, we have finger 1 for 2 beats, 1, 2, then open on beat 3, and then the next measure, we have an A with your 2nd finger. And I want to make sure this B and this A aren't ringing and obscuring the melody. So what I do is I play the B, and then I'm using my 2nd finger to play that B, and then you touch that string again to mute the B while you play the A. So I play the B, touch the B string, and play the A at the same time. Next measure, low G and an open B for 3 beats. 1, 2, 3, and then an octave E, so low E, and then an E on the 4th string. We have a fermata above this, so just hold that for a while. And that takes us to letter A. First 2 measures of letter A are the same as the first 2 measures of the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we have octave Cs played with fingers 3 and 1. Keep 3rd finger down the whole measure. So we have 2 beats, 1, 2, on a beat 3, we get that B. And then we have this double stop with a low F and an A. I'm playing that with finger 1 on the low F, finger 2 on the A. You could use finger 3 if you like. I'm just showing you what works best for me. I'm using fingers 1 and 2. That's for 3 beats. 1, 2, 3. Octave Gs, I play this low G with my 3rd finger. 3 beats. 1, 2, 3. And then octave A's, a low A and an A on the 3rd string. We've got a fermata there. So again, we just hold that, maybe a little bit of a pause, and that takes us to letter B. 1st finger on the C, and then play that C again, plus this low C. Play this with your 3rd finger, and notice this low C is tied into the next measure, so you're going to keep that 3rd finger down through both of these measures while the melody moves around. 1, 2 on beat 3, 4th finger on the D, back to 1st finger, keeping this 3rd finger down the whole time, and then an open B. Next measure, we restate the low C and the octave above that. And again, this low C is tied, so keep the 3rd finger down through both of these measures. Melody is finger 1, 2, and then finger 4, then open. And I like to use fingers 3 and 4 here. 1, 2, 3 beats, fingers 1 and 3, 1, 2, 3, a low G and an open B. And as usual, at the end of all these phrases, you're going to find a fermata, so hold that note for a while, and then move on to letter C, which is the last phrase of the 1st verse. Pickup note is this C, 1st finger, and then a D on the 4th string, and above that, we have an octave above that. I'm using my 4th finger. You could use another finger if you like, but 1, 2, beat 3, 1st finger, low G and an open B, 1, 2, 3, and as I did before, I don't want to have the B and the A ringing at the same time, so I play the B note, I touch the B string as I play the A. Makes it nice and clean, a low E and an open B, That low E is tied, so keep that ringing while you play the next melody note, this E on the 4th string. Then that little comma is called a breath mark, so it's just a little bit of a pause as if you're a singer taking a breath before this last little bit. This low A ties to the next measure, so hold this, or I should say let it ring through those 2 measures. Melodies, finger 2, open, 1, 2, 1, and then we have this low F and A again. I'm using fingers 1 and 2. You could use other fingers. Hold it for 3 beats. 1, 2, 3. Octave Gs. I'm playing the low G with my 3rd finger. And then A's. And because this is the end of the 1st section, I would hold this fermata a little bit longer. Beginning at letter D, we're still in A minor, but now we're adding chords, so it's important, especially if you're only reading the tab, to do pay some attention to the music notation above the tab for chords and fingerings. Pick up to letter D, go ahead and form the entire A minor chord, have that prepped and ready to go. It's marked finger 2 here, and if you're holding down the A minor chord, then you're all set. And then we play 3 strings of an A minor chord, 1, 2, and on beat 3, this C with 1st finger, and again, if you're holding the A minor, that C is already down. 1, 2, 3, then a G chord, play this low G with your 3rd finger, the other strings are open, 1, 2, keep all of this ringing, so 3rd finger stays down as you play 4th finger on this D. Then A minor again, form the A minor chord, and notice the 2 lowest notes are tied through these 2 measures. So keep those notes ringing, hold those fingers down. So 1, 2, open, so lift 1st finger, and then we have this A, and again, I don't want my A and B ringing, so I'm going to touch the B string just as I did before when I play the A. 1, 2, 3, mute the B string, low G and an open B, and here we have the 3 lowest sounding notes of an E minor chord. And as usual, we have a fermata at the end of this phrase, so hold that for a bit. Then maybe just a little bit of a pause before you move to letter E. First 2 measures of letter E are the same as first 2 measures of letter D. So form that A minor, 1, 2, 3, G chord, 1, 2, 3. Here's a C chord with melody on string 2, 1, 2, lift your 1st finger. And here's our low F and A double stop again. Use whichever fingers you like. I'm using fingers 1 and 2. Then 3 notes, 3 strings of a G chord. We have a low G, and the other 2 strings are open, the 3rd string and the 4th string. Hold that for 3 beats. And then the 3 lowest notes of an A minor chord. And there's that fermata, so hold that before we move to the next section. And that takes us to letter F. It begins with a C chord, so begin holding the entire C chord down with your fretting hand. Pickup note is 1st finger, which is part of that C chord. Now, next we play most of a C chord. We don't play the 1st string, but we play the middle 4 strings. And notice that these 3 notes, the C, E, and G at the bottom, are tied to the next measure. So throughout these next 2 measures, you're going to be moving your 1st finger and your 4th finger, but keep 2nd, 3rd finger down so we keep those notes ringing. 1, 2, finger 4, back to finger 1, open. Here we restate the C chord, 1, 2, finger 4 on beat 3, now open. And again, the 2 measures I just played, tied, so keep that chord ringing. And here we have most of a G chord, and what we're going to do is keep the 3rd finger down on that low G. It's tied to the next measure. So this 1st measure here is, again, most of a G chord, finger 4 on the D. Keep the low G ringing, move to the C over G chord while that low note keeps ringing. And then G chord again, 3rd finger on the low G, the other strings are open, and as usual we have that fermata, so hold that for a while. And that moves us into letter G, which is the last line of this section. Finger 1 on the C, And then fourth string D, I'm playing the upper D with my fourth finger. You could use third finger if you like. 1, 2, finger 1, and then a low G and a B. 1, 2. I'm going to mute the B here as I play the A. Just touch that string to mute it. Low E is tied here, so hold that low E through both of these measures. The melody is a B for 3 beats, and then an E for 3 beats. There's another breath mark, just a little bit of a pause, just like you're a singer or a wind instrument player taking a breath. And then we have an A minor chord. We don't put the first finger down just yet, and the 2 lowest notes are tied, so keep those notes down and ringing through both of these measures. So we play 1, 2, open B string. Now we put the first finger down, 1, open, 1. And here we have this low F and A double stop again. Throughout, I've been playing this A double stop with finger 1 and 2. However, we're holding down the A minor chord in the measure before. Third finger is down for that chord. So we might as well just keep third finger down as we move to this double stop here. Hold that for 3 beats. I like to use my third finger on this low G. 1, 2, 3. And then the 3 lowest sounding notes of an A minor chord. This is the end of a major section in this, so maybe hold that a little bit longer. Now we're at letter H. We are in a new key. We've moved to the key of D minor. It's a little bit more active here. You're going to be holding chords down, a lot of times just picking 1 or 2 strings at a time, but for the most part, you're going to want to keep those fingers down, keep all the notes of the chord ringing as much as possible. So pick up the letter H. There's just 1 note here. However, I'm going to go ahead and form the D minor chord that is in the next full measure. And I'm playing this D right here with my 4th finger, or I'm fingering that note. I'm not playing it just yet. I play my pickup first. Now, I play this D minor, or just 1 or 2 strings at a time, but I'm holding all these notes down, letting them ring. 1, 2, 3. Next measure, based on a C chord. Again, I want to keep all my strings ringing, including my bass note with my 3rd finger, so 3rd finger stays down. 1, 2, 4th finger here. Next we have a D minor chord. I'm not going to put down this D just yet, although you could if you like. 1, 2, open here, and now I do put my 4th finger down, or you could use your 3rd finger if you like. Let me go back to that D minor. 2, 3, a low C and then an open E. 2, 3, the lowest 3 notes of an A minor chord. 1, 2, now open and 1. And those last 2 notes I played are not part of the melody. That's just more of a decoration. The melody is this A from these 3 notes. And the other 2 notes, like I say, are just kind of decoration, a bit of an echo. So don't play those too loudly. 1, 2, ting, ting. Of course, another fermata, and then we're at letter I. First 2 measures of letter I are the same as first 2 measures of letter H. Form that D minor chord. Keep the chord ringing. Keep all these notes ringing. And then we have an F chord, although you don't need to bar the 2nd string because we're not playing the 2nd string in this measure. So we're going to be playing fingers 3, 2, and then finger 1 just on the 1st string. But again, let all these notes ring, hold them all down. Then open, and then a low B flat and a D melody note. Very important here to play this melody note with your 4th finger. And the reason for that is we play fingers 1 and 4 here. Next measure, that melody note's tied, so you keep that note ringing, but the bass note moves to finger 3. This is going to be a lot easier if you use the fingerings that I'm showing you here. So finger 1 on the bass here, finger 3 on the bass here, while you're keeping that melody note ringing. Now you keep this bass note down and ringing while you play 1st finger. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then D minor chord, don't need your 1st finger just yet. 1, 2, and again, these are just echoes here. Ding, ting, so play those a little softer. We have our usual fermata, and that takes us to letter J. We have a lot of double stops here. Your first finger in particular is going to be sliding around quite a bit. First finger on this F, and then fingers 1 and 3 were on strings 1 and 2. Double stop is fingers 1 and 3. Hold that for 2 beats, so 1, 2 on beat 3. Just slide those 2 fingers up 2 frets each, so 1, 2, 3. Next measure, back down to the original double stop, 1, 2, and then finger 1 and open. And here's our double stop with fingers 1 and 3 again. 1, 2, on beat 3 we move to the 3rd fret, and then we move first finger to the 5th fret. Now our double stop is strings 1 and 2. 1, 2, on beat 3, just play that first string again. 1, 2, 3. First finger slides some more back to the 3rd fret. Our double stop is now fingers 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3. Slide both fingers down to the 1st fret and 3rd fret. 1, 2, 3. And then this is based on a C chord. We have the 2 highest notes of a C chord at first. 1, 2, keep those ringing. And those bass notes, again, are just a little echo. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We have another fermata there, so of course hold that. Then we move to letter K. Letter K is the last line of this arrangement. First finger on this F, and then very important to use fingers 3 and 4 here. Finger 3 in the bass. The reason for that is we play 1, 2, and that's a G chord. The reason for that is because we need first finger here to play this melody note while we're keeping the 3rd finger down. That's much easier to do with 3rd finger down. 1, 2, 3. C chord with melody on string 1. 1, 2, 3. So beat 3, I played finger 4 in that D. Again, keeping the C chord ringing. And then we have a low A in the bass that's tied for 2 measures. Above that, we play a melody note E for 3 beats, 2, 3, and then an A for 3 beats, and then we have another little breath mark. And again, that breath mark is just a quick breath, as if you're a singer or a wind player taking a breath before the last phrase. The last phrase does have a repeat, so let's talk about that before we talk about the fingerings and all that. We have a repeat with the 1st and 2nd ending. This repeat takes us back to just 4 measures earlier. So we play through that 1st ending, jump back to the forward repeat. Notice right above that it says 2x rit. That means the 2nd time we're retarding or slowing down. Anyway, we just have 2 measures to play before we jump over the 1st ending and skip to the 2nd ending. So we have a D minor chord right here at the beginning of this little section. We don't need first finger just yet, and it is important this time to use 4th finger on this D on the 2nd string, and you'll see why as we get into the 1st ending. And we don't need first finger for this D minor just yet. We play 1, 2, 3, that's an open string. Now first finger, 1, open, 1. Now here's why we're playing 4th finger on this D minor. If you have 4th finger on the D minor, you're all set for this double stop in the 1st ending. 4th finger on this D. Well, you play 1st finger on the low B flat. And the reason we need to play 4th finger on this D, and we did this a couple lines up, is because you're going to keep this D ringing while you move the bass from 1st finger to 3rd finger on this C. Makes that a lot easier. So I'm going to go from the D minor again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 4th finger stays down. 4th finger still stays down. And then a D5 or a D power chord. And really it's just the 3 lowest sounding strings of a D minor chord. There's a fermata there, so we hold that for a little bit, and then we jump back. And again, the 2nd time through, I'm already playing slowly, so I'm not going to slow down anymore. But when you're playing this up to tempo, you're going to slow down through this. So again, we play with 4th finger down. 1, open, 1. Now we jump to the 2nd ending. We have this really pretty B flat major 7 chord. And another good reason to keep 4th finger down is because now this D minor, the way we're playing it, and this B flat major 7 have finger 2 and 4 in common. So as you move from the D minor to the B flat major 7, keep finger 2 and 4 down. And there's our B flat major 7. It's a pretty chord. It's fingers 1, 3, 2, and 4. and then a C chord, and then that D5 again. I'm going to go the second time through. Here's our B flat major 7, 2, 3, C chord, and then our D5 or D power chord.